Well, the most recent USDA supply and demand report held a big surprise, with the USDA increasing the amount of corn available while decreasing the amount of beans.
The market surged higher, contrary to what many in the grain industry thought would happen. And joining us now is TWILA's Neil Melancon for this week's Bottom Line. And Neil, I think you're staying a little close to Kristen given what you predicted, and this didn't exactly go the way you thought it would.
It did not go the way I thought it would, nor, is it many of the traders out there. It didn't go their way either, but I have an explanation if you'll let me just get to it. We're around $4 for corn and over $10.50 for soybeans right now, and it doesn't make sense, and I'll tell you why here in a second. First up, I want to remind everyone that there are a lot of factors that drive the markets, from supply and demand, investment firms, banks, currency differences, weather, and so on. As such, it's usually difficult to pin the markets down to just one factor. I have been saying, though, that the markets are overbought and due for a price correction, and here's why. The USDA recently released that supply and demand report, and there are two figures in it that can show you what's going on with the grains right now. The first is carryout, the amount of grain that is supply after all the factors have been taken into consideration, such as exports, domestic usage, and the like. The USDA looked at the new crop carryout for the first time this year in May. The second figure is the price that the USDA estimates the grains will trade at given that that's the carryout that we're going to get. Usually this is a range of prices, but I put in the mean price based on that range. For corn, we saw a slight drop in old crop corn, thanks in part to higher exports and usage. If you look on the horizon, though, you'll see an even larger carryout the USDA is predicting by the end of the year when this new crop of corn comes in. As you can see, the prices move with supply, going higher for old crop thanks to the drop, and lower with the carryout going higher as the year goes on. For soybeans, it's the same thing for old crop, a drop in carryout due to more usage, exports, and some disappointing South American harvest numbers. New crop carryout is even lower, and you can see the price is tracking right along with that carryout, going higher as these numbers drop. The bottom line here is, though, that before the USDA report came out, the prices for both corn and beans were higher than the top end of what USDA estimated. After the report came out, beans gained 50 more cents and corn gained a dime or so. Now, some of this is due in part to the supply being lower and than what the average trade guess was for both commodities. The point, though, is the prices should go higher with lower supply, but when that price is starting over the top end of the range, we're way over what we should be. As an example, the top price USDA is giving for beans right now is $9.85. The price for that same month before the report came out was around $10.05, 15 cents higher. And guys, when you look at this as a farmer and you're looking at what to do, we're not set on acreage right now. A lot of farmers in the Midwest are still making those decisions as to whether or not to plant corn or beans. And when you're looking at $4 corn and almost $11 beans, it's obvious which one you want to pick, that higher number, especially, even given the basis may be a little better for corn, but still you can't beat that price for beans right now.
Well, I'm done with you. You're going to get me a divorce from my family if I listen. And I told you last week, you're no longer the grain wizard. Oh, okay. You're the grain troll.
You call me that. I'm the grain troll.
You're the grain troll.
I'll go find a bridge to live
underneath your office.
I might be collecting on that life insurance policy I took out,
yeah,
Neil.
You may.
Thanks a lot, Neil Melancon. Well, that does it for this edition of TWILA. Be sure to join us next week when we'll introduce you to the next of the Louisiana Farm Bureau's Young Farmer and Ranchers Achievement Award finalists.
Until then, you can watch all of our stories online on our website, twilatv.org, and be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter.
For all of us here at TWILA, thank you for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.